So I've been reading The Artist Way. And one of the things that I've given myself as an artist date on occasion is to fall down the rabbit hole. And I want you to fall down the rabbit hole of what $2,000 a month universal income might change right after the intro. And welcome back to another episode of the Daily Donna with me, your host, Dr. Donna Oriola, sex and relationship therapist in the Washington, D.C. metro area, author of Drink Water and Mind Your Business, a Black woman's guide to unlearning the BS and healing self-esteem. It is an exercise that I put in this book. On page 74 of my book, in chapter 4, What We Not Gonna Do, there is journal work, and I'm going to give it to you here right now. Consider what life would have been like if you were not born into a world where, as Marvel Comics villain turned hero Loki would say, we are in a mad scramble for power, for identity. If you got to be a human being and didn't have to prove your worth, if people weren't considered better than another, but rather just folk on equal standing, if white supremacy, male supremacy, etc., weren't a thing, if capitalism wasn't a dogged pursuit to prove oneself better than another, if all your basic needs were more than adequately met, and you had no fear of racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, ableism, etc., what would you be doing? What life would you be living? What would you desire for yourself? I find that I am often in this space of considering this exact question, sort of sitting in it, thinking in it, dreaming about it. So this morning, what had happened was I went on a walk with my mother. Well, no, I went on a walk with my husband. And as we all want to do when we get to the space where we will depart, he kissed me on the forehead and tell me, I'll see you later, right? So I depart back and then I get on the phone with my mother. There was a time where we would walk in our respective spaces, but headphones in, and it's like we were walking together, and I love that. So I basically walked back with my mom, and I was just like, I was lamenting about my sadness that companies are considered successful when they cheat their people, when they can report billions of dollars in profit that they had to steal from the workforce by not paying them a livable wage. And I was thinking about that one guy from a while back who decided that he was going to pay all of his employees, I think he said like $70,000, which required him to take a pay cut, and so that everybody could get a pay increase. And that it increased productivity, company loyalty, turned down turned down rollover, which was also expensive, which is still expensive to companies. He got people that were more skilled because they were able to express their skills. They were more rested because they were able to take time off when they wanted it, when they needed it. They had flexibility in their schedule, but people were doing the daggone thing. And I remember at the time, the news was saying, like, this man is radical, he's crazy, he's gonna fail. Business is still here.
Dan Price is his name. He raised the salary of everyone at his Seattle credit card processing company to at least $70,000 a year, at least. Price's decision was met with predictions of bankruptcy from his worst critics, but we're here to tell you now that has not happened. Instead, the company is actually thriving. And as Carter Evans shows us, the higher pay has helped employees buy homes and start families.
Right, it's still here, even with the economic downturn from COVID and all that. As far as I know, still here, still doing it. And a lot of his employees were willing to give back a little bit of money because they felt the loyalty from him. So they felt loyalty for him, as opposed to what's going on now with people burning down warehouses. But that's neither here nor there. I guess I digress. So I was thinking about that, right? And I was even telling her that I don't think that people fully understand what it means for a company to have profits. That profits is not, oh, I'll be destitute without. It's we are well paid with. We are fine exactly as we are. I paid everybody's salary downstairs who does the frontline work. I paid everybody's salary upstairs who manages the people who do the frontline work. I've paid every bill. The building is paid for. We've paid our taxes. The CEO has received their money. The benefits packages that everybody has or doesn't have, it has been covered. All of this stuff, right? Covered, 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 covered. Everything is good, copacetic, we're great. And then you report having $500 billion in profits. And that's where I have a problem. Because you got $500 billion in profits, but you pay the people who do the work $30,000, they can't live off of it. You could have doubled their pay and only put a small dent in your profits. You still would have been profitable. But it also requires you first to make sure that you're paying people fairly. And then I got to thinking, like, my goodness, so many people, we do what we feel like we have to do. We don't do what we desire to do. And I think that those desires, because they're so stuck within us, so many of us are, that's part of the reason why so many of us are separated from ourselves, because poverty is a life-changing phenomena that introduces trauma into the cycle of your life at the very beginning, right? So I look at these things and I just like, you've got companies talking about record-breaking profits that they got off breaking your back. You've got these people who are destroying the economy. So many people have been fired, right? And for a lot of people, that destroys their sense of self. It destroys their sense of self-esteem. It destroys the connection they have to themselves. It introduces a whole host of anxiety. So the mental health concerns that they need to now have addressed, they can't even afford to have it addressed, because not just because therapy is expensive, but because in this country, therapy, mental health, like physical health, is considered a luxury good and a luxury item. It's not something that everybody gets to have access to. And then I was just thinking, like, my goodness, that like the one warehouse fire, they said that someone said, if they would have just paid us more. And then I watched this video about how if they would have just paid the people, if they would have given them a moderate increase, they could have avoided this and made more stuff, made more money, made more. But the point is this. I got to thinking about, what would it be like if there was universal income? If there was a guaranteed $2,000 per adult. That means when you turn 18, $2,000 per month. What would you actually do with yourself, with your life? How would you live? What experiences do you think that you would have? And for a lot of people, it is the thing that removes their constant insecurity about food, about housing. It removes the anxiety that they deal with, which creates the ailments within their bodies and in their minds that requires them to constantly be at somebody's doctor's office or a therapist's chair. Because a lot of us don't have mental health problems. We simply have a problem with the way that the world outside is operating, because it is sickening. And they're reacting well to a sickening world. They are not the ones that are sick. Anyway, tell me, what would you do with an extra $2,000 a month if there was universal income? We're just here to dream. So if you have your negative Nancy nonsense, keep it on your page, please. Mine is for the dreamers right now. I am happy to take discourse, but I will be blocking disrespecters. All right, y'all, you at the bee's knees. I'm Dr. Donna. This is the Daily Donna, and I will see you in tomorrow. Dream on. Bye.